All right, guys, welcome back to The Struggle with Candice Thompson. I am Candice Thompson, and The Struggle is a podcast where I have my funny friends on, and we used to, when we first started doing this, we weren't in quarantine. We used to just have friends come on and talk about things they're struggling with, but since we are all struggling with the same thing, a la COVID, quarantine, race wars, everything, I figured let's not beat a dead horse and make people even more sad and paranoid than they already are. Let's uplift and make people laugh with jokes and talk about some lighter, more topical things. So that's what we're doing in the Quarantine Files. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do that. We're on all podcast platforms. Also on YouTube, I'm starting to post the videos on my own personal YouTube page, so I'll post that link. Rate and review us on iTunes. And last but not least, if you are listening to this regularly and you have not subscribed, make sure you do that. And not subscribe, but if you haven't told someone about the podcast, do that, pay it forward. Now I'm going to introduce my co-host, who looks so happy to be here, Mal Hall.
Hey everybody, I'm back. Unfortunately, I'm still living in the country, and so I don't have reliable Wi-Fi at the house. So I'm currently in the parking lot, the library here in town, and I'm stealing their Wi-Fi. I've parked dangerously close to this building, so the Wi-Fi will get to my phone, and hopefully everything sounds clear. My website is malhall.com. There's nothing on there. And at Mal Hall on all social media, Mal Hall TV on YouTube. I'm posting blogs again, so check those out. Candice, who is our guest?
Well, really quickly before I introduce our lovely and hilarious guest, I want to ask, are you going to different parking lots to podcasts, or do you find yourself going to the same parking lot?
So this is a different parking lot from the last week, and I'm only here because I did a Zoom earlier this week, and the Wi-Fi worked really well here.
Oh, good.
So the other parking lot, I was just using Verizon's network, but this I'm using actual Wi-Fi.
Okay. All right. We're just testing parking lots. Is that a Chick-fil-A hat you're wearing?
What's that?
What is it? I said, is that a Chick-fil-A hat that you're wearing? What is that?
No, it's a Chamorro. I got this hat in Guam.
Oh, okay. I remember you. All right.
I'm pivoting and adjusting. It's, we're in quarantine. It's a pandemic. I'm just trying to make it work, Candice.
Yo, we're all just trying to figure it out right now, Mal. We're all just trying to figure it out. Now I'm going to introduce our hilarious guest for the day, comedian. She's no stranger to the struggle. She's been here before. Welcome back, Kennelia Stradwick.
Hi, y'all.
Hello. Where can people find you?
Girl, at my table in the dining room. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Kennelia. That's like Kenny and Ophelia. Like Mal, my website is active and ain't nothing on there but some old shows from back in the day when we used to do stand-up comedy. And that's it. You can just find me on social media.
Yes,
awesome.
Kennelia. We better say something, Mel?
No, I said awesome. I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah, so am I. Now I have an agenda, but I thought about something that I left off the list, and then when I emailed you guys the topics that I wanted to discuss, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about this too. So first thing I'm gonna mention is something that was not on the list, was the social media challenge that took place this week. I think it was, the day's just, I don't know what month it is anymore. It doesn't matter. Time is nothing.
It's August.
Oh, shoot, it is.
It is August.
No. Do y'all know a whole year is basically about to be gone?
A wrap.
Yeah.
Like, it's August. Yo, what are we doing for the holidays? Because I don't think people really thinking about how we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas in these trying times.
In these certain times. I mean, I feel like we're about to start seeing Halloween decorations up at CVS.
We are. It's August.
Yeah.
That was real. You just said the realest shit you've ever said when you said it was August.
I noticed I blew both of your minds. You guys were both like, oh shit, it is.
It's August.
Yeah.
why, but July didn't seem as hard to swallow. But when you say August, for some, like, because that's now that it's summer's over, like summer's about to be done. So it's like we about to go into fall and we still in our houses.
Yep, back to school.
No
school shopping. They ain't even going. They at the house. This
as strange as this is gonna sound, this year has it's kind of been quick and long at the same time, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Like it's August already, and we're like, it feels like we've been on lockdown for 2 years, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like that long ago that we were,
Yeah. No, I feel like this is. I feel like this is the whole year is just duality. It's like it's been slow but fast, but it's been hilarious but tragic. Like all of these things, like it's hot but somehow cold. Like I don't know what is going on, but it's the year of just ridiculousness.
Yo, like it's about to be 2021 out here. Like Happy New Year, yay!
And we ain't done
no year. Everybody gonna be like,
my year was just like your year, bitch, in the house.
Get a do-over. I think this next year should also be 2020, so we can just try again and see if we can do it a little bit better this time. And the bar is so low, it won't take much. If we could just get through January without a beloved celebrity dying, that would be great. If we could just get to redo January without I was gonna say Oprah, but I don't trust her. Anyway, so
you're talking about the black and white challenge?
Yeah, that was this week, right?
Yeah.
That was this week or 3 months ago. I have no idea.
I think.
Maybe.
Did you guys take the challenge? Were you challenge accepted? Black and white photo?
I did not. I got challenged, but I didn't do it.
Girl, okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. So this is why I'm bringing it up. It's because I got challenged by a few people, and I was like, here's the thing: first of all, we were just talking when we started recording. Is I'm dubious of everything. I don't be trusted nothing. So when I see these challenges, I'm like, what is really the reason for this? But even on a more superficial level than that, I'm like, can we stop just trying to make it sound like you are posting a picture of yourself for any other reason than attention? Because that's always what it is. Anything that you do online on social media, I've always felt like it's just you just want attention, and that's fine. We're comedians. We do what we do for attention. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, can we just stop lying and just be honest and say, I just wanted to post this cute picture of myself.
Yeah. No, and I didn't. This is when I know I don't need to post it. When I don't even bother to read the caption of the other black and white photos. I don't even know what they were saying. All I read was I'm a black woman. I was like, I can't scroll through the rest of this. I don't know what this says. I just didn't have the time. But like you said, Candice, I understand that some people need to do things for that reason. Because think about it, take comedians out, take entertainers. Somebody's sitting at home right now in Indianapolis, those likes that he or she's gonna get on that picture, that's the only interaction they're gonna get.
Yeah, and the only positive thing maybe that having a stranger just like their post, or even someone that they know like their post, gives them a sense of like, oh, I'm liked right now. And if that's what you need to do, especially right now in these times, again, no judgment.
Yeah, but I just didn't. I was like, I'm not doing it. I
saw the black and white pictures in my feed, and I was like, oh, what is? So I looked it up. Looked up what is challenge accepted, hashtag challenge accepted, and I read what it was about, and I was like, oh, that's cool, because I'm all about, as Candice, as you know, I'm all about like female empowerment. Like I'm a friend of women, and I thought it was an awesome idea. And then through the day, I would see, the black and white pictures and less clothes, and I'm like, I don't think this is about empowering women. This seems to be just about getting likes, because I'm seeing a lot of tits and ass now in black and white talking about support strong women. Put your tits away.
If they gotta show them titties, they gotta show them titties. I mean, but they probably didn't know that they couldn't do that because, again, didn't nobody read
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah, they didn't read the caption to even know what it was they were posting.
Yeah.
Well,
I think most people just saw, oh, we're posting black and white pictures today, and they just started doing it.
and again, it's like, we need to do your research. Like, again, back to the remember for when everybody got the momentum behind Black Lives Matter, and then they were like,
Black Tuesday, Blackout Tuesday.
Yeah. So people were just haphazardly posting this black square, and people that didn't even say anything about Black Lives Matter before this at all, and should have been popping off before the black square thing even happened. People that hadn't even posted anything at all about Black Lives Matter, all of a sudden were posting this black square without knowing like the consequences of doing it. And so there is a conspiracy that says, because first of all, I don't even know where that black square came from. Who started that? Do we know?
It started in music entertainment, music companies, where they were saying, we're gonna pause.
Yes, but
we're gonna do this specifically as music creators, and then it just sifted and shifted down to everybody.
Right. So I forgot. Yes, that is where it came from, the music industry. But people were saying it just happened to be on, coincidentally, the same date that Hillary Clinton had a court date. So they were saying that they did that to so that the media, so that people wouldn't be it was a distraction, so people wouldn't be talking about what's going on with Hillary Clinton. And she has another court date coming up on September 9th, apparently, that nobody's talking about. So
what is it what
Hillary's done some shit. Hillary's done some shit. I saw a document that said crimes against children. So let's just leave that there.
Ooh,
so anyway, but all this, the Epstein stuff's coming to light, and Bill Clinton's name is trending on Twitter and shit right now because of all the Epstein coincidences. Right. But so with I don't even know if you guys do this, but with this challenge, the black and white photo challenge, people were again saying that it had the wrong meaning. They were saying that it got appropriated from Turkey, that women were posting that to spread awareness about violence against women in Turkey.
Yeah.
So then people got mad about that. You're posting black and white pictures saying it's about empowering women when it really has to do with violence with women in Turkey. So people are mad about that. And then it turns out apparently it's not even from Turkey. It started in Brazil. And I'm like, I can't.
At this point, people need to know, if you do a challenge on social media and you start it and it has the intent of one thing, but it has something to do with like posting a selfie or like being a bad bitch, it's gonna get overshadowed. You had a good, your intentions were pure. Y'all, there's a fly that got into my apartment as soon as we started this podcast. As soon as we started, the fly is like. So if y'all see him flying around,
the government watching you. They're watching you.
It's the man. But no, they're gonna take the challenge and they're gonna do whatever. They're gonna take it over. They're gonna take it over. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna, and again, it will eventually show its face. Whatever the challenge is supposed to be, it's gonna get taken over by people. Yes, being like, oh, I just wanted to post a cute picture of myself, and it's like, you can do that, but just stop saying that it's in the name of something, of some virtuous movement. And it's like, no, you're allowed to post a selfie if you want to. Just say it.
Yeah, just post it.
All right. So now that we've gotten that off our chests, let's get to the list. And I'm like, which one do I start with? But I think I like this one because I saw it trending on Twitter the other day. So there's this white chick that was getting dragged online because she was in a TikTok video, which I would also like to talk about. TikTok is apparently going to get banned. So what'd you say?
Why?
Oh, girl, TikTok is apparently China spying on us. TikTok was already banned in other countries.
So now China has found a way to get at us using troubled teens in America, because clearly that's who on TikTok.
Girl, TikTok, I was on there for a hot minute. So I gotta, apologize to my 17 followers because I deleted my account. Once I read these articles about it being like surveillance, which let's just say all of our things are surveillance.
Yeah, everything's surveillance.
Everything is, but apparently TikTok is the worst one. Like apparently TikTok has some information on us that other apps don't and devices. But so I did delete it, but it's also racist. Like people have been using that platform to be hella racist. They also filter like their algorithms in a way that a lot of black people who have a bunch of followers and black like artists, I guess, don't show up first. Like it's always like white people and whoever. So there's also, I saw some creepy like pedophilia adjacent stuff on TikTok one time. So I'm like, yeah, they need to get rid of this.
Yeah, if it's doing all of that, we had a good time. It's the new Vine. That's fine.
It is the new Vine. It's moved on. It's time to.
Yeah.
So this chick, I think it was a TikTok video that she was on, and then I saw it on Twitter because Black Twitter started dragging her because she was basically saying that AAVE, which stands for African American Vernacular English, she's a chick who I guess will put on a black scent when she like does some of her videos. And her argument is if it's for comedic purposes or just in general, it's like online culture. It's like, this is how things start trending, and it's like you'll see Cardi B speaking like this, and then all of a sudden, now you got these young kids who look up to Cardi B, regardless of what race they are. They're absorbing how she speaks, and so now it's just like this is just online culture. So stan culture, I think, is what she said too. Yeah. So I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that, whether or not you agree with her, if she's right, like, is that what AAVE is, or should white people not be okay to speak like that?
This is the perfect example of how this is like appropriation with everything that we do, right? When white people see us do things, we make stuff look very sexy and attractive. It's cool. We turn anything into the poppinest thing on the planet.
We do.
So, and if you don't know any black people as a young white girl or old white person, you take whatever you see on the internet and then you create this idea in her head, like, yeah, that's internet culture because I saw them on the internet and I only hear people talking like this on the internet without putting two and two together. Yeah, because I don't know no black people in real life and I don't talk to them outside of the internet. It's kind of like with like cornrows and do-rags, how companies like Chanel, I think it was like Chanel tried to make a designer do-rag and they were like,
yes.
Hair hat, and then or like cornrows. But to people who don't know any black people, they think it's like this new discovery, and then we're just doing it because it's cool and hip now. And yeah, and so they'll get on these platforms and tell the masses this because again, they don't know no black people.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna know any black people.
Right.
I mean, I think it just shows I mean, as an artist, you want to create stuff that has a hook that people take home with them. So I think it's just black culture is the most popular culture. So you're gonna, and especially if the audience is young, I don't think they have the mental capacity to separate it. You know what I mean? They're just like, they're taking in what they take in.
Yeah.
Which is black culture, hip hop culture, and that's what, it's sort of helping shape their reality. So that's how they're going to speak because they think that that's cool. They're not going to talk the way their parents want them to talk. They're going to talk the way they think the fun shit is.
Cool.
And to us, when you watch it, it is off-putting and kind of jarring, but it's like kind of I don't know. It's there's a word that's on the tip of my tongue that I can't. It's just they're just a product of that. I think. I don't think they're doing it with malice. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree. And like there is this fine line of like, y'all love our culture but don't love us because like you take what we do but don't support us. Like y'all weren't out there marching necessarily. Some of them were, but for some reason I'm thinking the Wiggers sat the protest out. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there were some Wiggers marching in the streets. I have no idea. But
Yeah.
But it's like when you do that, I feel like when you appropriate Black culture, I think as Black people, we look at it like, okay, if y'all are going to take this and I think profiting from it is more the problem. It's like if you have now an online following because of some shit you took from Black people, you got to give back in some way. You got to give us credit. You got to give us shouts. Do whatever you can to help. But for a lot of people, it is just like this is how, like you were saying, this is how I grew up. I grew up watching this. Now I just kind of absorb. This is how I speak now because I enjoy watching this, and now I'm imitating what I've seen. So there is this fine line of like, is what they're doing disrespectful? But it's also kind of like flattering in a way. It's because we're so dope that they take what we do because it's so cool.
Yeah. You know, it's flattering until they open their mouths and then say like what you said. She's like, you know, it's like online culture. It's like girl, we were flattered until you started talking. No, it's not. Side note, speaking of protests,
yes,
I went to a protest like some weeks ago. It was on Juneteenth. And it was led by this young Black girl. And it was like mad white people protesting. Like it was mad white people. She at one point they had us like sit down in Beverly Hills on the ground, and she was having people do chants. She made all the Black women stand up, and it was only like 6 Black women at the protest. Wow. And she made the white protesters chant, "Black women matter." We were standing up, and like the little white kids were like, "Black women matter." Black women matter. And we were like,
"Say it."
And she was going around telling people to say it. Like she was like yelling, like, "Say it louder," like to these little white kids. It was so crazy.
There were children there, you said?
No, they were like 18.
Oh, okay, like teenage, right?
Like, you know, but she was like, when they weren't like saying it loud enough, she would be like in their face with like the bullhorn, like, "Say it louder, Black women matter."
I am not against that type of education. If that was on her, if she woke up and was like, "This is on my agenda today, is make white people say Black women matter," I'm not going to argue with that. I'm all for that. I don't think. Oh, really quickly, because I did have a question back about Wiggers when we return to that topic. But the protesters, who is still protesting right now? Do we know, like, is it a lot of Black people that are still protesting, or has it turned into like these, like up in Portland, like these people that are getting arrested or whatever and taken away? Is it mostly white people?
I think so. Over here, I'm in Sherman Oaks, and then by the Galleria, there's a protest every day. It be white people out there with their Black Lives Matter sign, the kids, they be out there going in, honey, like yelling all day, every day.
But like, and now I'm questioning what are we protesting? What are they protesting specifically? Like, because they're out there still doing this, and I'm like, what is the end game with them still being out there? Does anybody know?
I think in Sherman Oaks, it looked like they just want the white people in Sherman Oaks to know that Black people exist. So they'd be like yelling like, "Black lives matter," like
okay. Wow, yes.
So I think they just want like the community to still
right.
That's positive though. I think it's good that there's white people out there marching, because that's, if you think about it, that's what the movement needs. Like, absolutely. Every Black person in America can go out and march, but without white people also marching, nothing is going to change. So if it's still white people out there marching,
absolutely,
it's about time. Go do it and tell your cousins to do it. Like, it's like somebody said in the NFL, it's like, if Colin Kaepernick would have had just like 1 or 2 white quarterbacks kneel with him, the movement would have been completely different, you know? But instead it was just him and then a couple of black players, and they got yelled at by the president. No one else, you know what I mean? No, the white silence is, you know, them being complicit in whatever the
right. Right.
Yeah.
I did find it interesting that Roger Goodell, is that you say the last name Goodell, when he spoke out about Black Lives Now, like after George Floyd, I'm like, motherfucker, where was you?
Well, he was strong-armed into doing that by a group of black players.
Of course.
A group of black players put out a video that was like, we want the NFL to say this. And they lined it up. It was like a 1.5-minute video. And then I saw that video and I was like, good luck, buddies. I don't think that's going to happen. And then that dude was you saw him sitting in the chair just like, fuck, I can't believe I'm having to say this shit.
You got all of it. Whole league black. Like you got the.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, no, that was, I'm like, dude, come on now. We already know. It's too late. We already know where you stand. Yeah. We know this is just, you've been forced into this. Someone forced your hand into doing this because we know your intentions.
Yeah, he don't care. Roger don't care.
He don't care one lick.
The
Okay.
NBA's doing it. The NBA's doing it strong though.
What are they doing? I haven't been paying attention. What are they doing?
So they have Black Lives Matter is on the court, which is
nice.
Crazy. When you watch it, you have to see it. And then, like the Lakers game the other day, both teams, the full team and trainer staff, they're all wearing T-shirts that say Black Lives Matter before the game, and then the whole organizations, both of them knelt for the national anthem.
Wow. Oh, wow.
But have y'all seen the WNBA? Now, we'll be disrespecting WNBA, but they walked off the court. As soon as the anthem came on, they were like,
really?
They walked off, all of them. They got Breonna Taylor's name on the back of all of their jerseys.
I did see that. I saw some chick with stickers on. Yeah.
They like doing like fundraisers and like they got like so far like $300,000 going to her cause. Like the WNBA, awesome. They're out here like aggressive. They own it.
Yeah.
I was like, look at them.
It's so fucked up, and it's just like because we make fun of the WNBA all the time, and it's like
they out here doing it. They're doing more to me than the men are doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, they are. I mean, that's no surprise. Blame it all on Mal. Your gender just can't get it together. No.
What are your intentions with Black women?
Well, and no, we don't know who the higher ups are at the WNBA. It could be men that decided that they needed to do this for the W. I don't know. We're just kidding, obviously. I'm not hating on men, but we can hate on men when we get to Brian Callen. So But before we get into that, I had a question about back to the wigger, back to appropriation, and also know that when I use the term wigger, I have a joke about this, but just know it is because it's because of lack of a better word. I don't choose to keep saying wigger. I want to call them African Americans if that'll help, but I just don't. There's no better word for people, and we pretend like they don't exist, so they don't need an actual like name or a category, but they do, and we need a better one. And I've been waiting for it for years. Where is it? Because I'm tired of calling them wiggers. It is a hilarious word. So
I actually like
African American.
I actually like that.
I think I'll try to make it a
T-shirt.
I have a joke about it, and I don't. Maybe I mean, you know, we can't perform anymore. I was gonna say maybe I'll put myself on tape and then put that online. But where? I can't. Anyway, so pointless. So, are we more forgiving of certain people that appropriate Black culture? For example, Eminem, right? Like, do we forgive people like that as opposed to like an Iggy Azalea who we hated? We as a community, I felt like I don't want to say persecuted. In a very superficial way, but we tore that chick down. And I don't know if it's just because she's a woman. I think it's more talent based. I feel like if you have the talent, then you can appropriate and get away with it. Like Eminem is talented. He's not my favorite rapper, but he can hold his own in a freestyle contest. All right. So And also, I think we're more forgiving of him because he actually grew up in a Black community, and I think that counts as opposed to white people. Like Iggy Azalea was in Australia, which is such a racist place. And so,
yeah, and he grew up. Eminem act like a white dude that grew up in a trailer park in Detroit. Like that's how they act. Not necessarily like Black people. He act like a poor white boy,
poor white person, right?
Yeah. So, and Iggy Azalea put on a fake Southern accent.
She did.
To rap. Like, you couldn't just rap with your regular accent. That would have been harder than rapping with this parody. It was like a parody accent.
It was like this caricature of what she thought Black women behave like. But you know what's even more fucked up is that T.I. was the one that signed her. T.I. was the one that made her happen. And it's like, you couldn't find just a Black chick who was talented, who was doing this. And on top of it, she couldn't even rap. Like, she wasn't even a good lyricist on top of it.
He could have told her to use her regular accent. She had to put that's the thing that I just did not understand. And then it was just, like, it was so baffling. Like, girl, you don't have to do this.
Yeah. I think, that's one of my favorites. You don't have to do this, right?
Right. Like, girl, it's fine.
It's like when Jameis Winston was caught stealing crab legs and he's got so much money. I'm like, you don't have to do this, right? Like, come on. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah. I agree with what you guys just said. I'm just thinking about Iggy Azalea now, like how she is so rich, but she has to look at her money and just go like, what did I have to do to get this? I had to get most Black people in the world to hate me.
To hate me.
all of those.
Except Black men, because I'm pretty sure she has a baby by a Black man. She has a baby by a Black man. She was dating that one swaggy.
Nick Young.
Yeah. Anyway, he did Lights Out. He was a friend of the show. He did a bit on Lights Out with us. But anyway, his whole, like, I don't understand when Black men, because I'm like, and that's what I think is even more insulting, is like, if you're gonna date a white one, just date a white one. Why are you gonna date a white one that then acts Black in quotations? Because if that's the case, then you could have just, I think that's what's even more insulting, like, you could have just dated a Black girl, but that's how turned off by Black women are. You want one that acts like one, but you need it in a white package.
And a lot of them, I kind of think they be tuning women out. So I don't think he actually even like heard her accent. I don't even think he was like hearing it. He probably was like, she got this big old fake booty.
Yeah.
She popping.
Yeah.
And she, she cool to kind of like have out and hang around. But I don't even think they be like digesting the person. Because there's no way he can be around her with that fake accent and be like, oh, that's cool. Unless he wasn't listening.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because I've actually thought, I'm so happy you brought that up, because I had forgotten that I actually had thought this before. But that is true. I have thought with certain men, it's like they just care about what we look like and don't care about what we represent. It's like they just want this woman because she looks a certain way, or maybe she has money and I'm benefiting from that, whatever. But it's more physical, I think, with men a lot of the time. So it's like, I don't listen to the words that are coming out of her mouth. And it's like, for a lot of men who just objectify women, that is a thing. It's like, I don't care what she stands for, if she stands for anything, because, they're just
they don't be standing for nothing. Have you ever dated somebody and the conversation was so basic? And then you be like, but he tells you how he had all of these other relationships and how like he had this whole life with women, and then he'd be like, how? What were y'all talking about? And he'd be like, I don't know. He probably was fine with her because he probably didn't have nothing to talk about. Like, you know what I mean? He'd be like, I don't know what you was talking about.
I think about that often. I've had conversations with people, and I'm like, and you've been in relationships before? What the fuck was y'all talking about? Like, literally
nothing.
You've said nothing interesting this whole entire time. So what they do is guys like that will find a chick who has even less to say so that he won't be challenged. Think about that. Because you can't date somebody like us, because we're going to be like, what are you talking about? It's gonna be me and like me and Amanda always say, like, we don't let these niggas live. We don't. Like, you say some shit, I'm gonna come at you with a question, and because I don't understand or necessarily accept what you're saying, or you offended me in a way that I now have to come at you because you sound crazy. And a lot of guys can't handle that. And so they will date women that don't have a lot to say because of that. So if they're weak to begin with, they're gonna find a woman who's even weaker so that they feel comfortable and less threatened. Yes, Mal, you're a man. What do you have to say?
Huh? What? And another thing, cut your dicks off. What? God. Yeah, what they said. I agree wholeheartedly.
Come on, man.
No, I agree with you, but I don't have to deal with men on the level that you guys have to deal with men. So I apologize, but there's like, I don't know. I think the expectation, just the way boys are kind of raised is just to like try to get girls, but without, like, boys aren't raised to like have a conversation with women. They're raised to like just go try to get women. That's like,
yeah,
go get one. And so once they fucking trick one of you guys to go on a date with them, they feel like game over. I did it. They don't think about the conversation part every time. It's only, there are a select few of us that have both.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's
what I'll say. I've gone on a lot of dates with women and had the same experience where it's just like, oh, guys just go out with you because you're hot, not because of anything else. And for me, I'm the opposite of most men in a lot of ways. Candice, I think, would co-sign that. It's just like,
yes.
I can't sit on a date with you and have no conversation. Like, I have to talk to a smart person. So there's plenty of dumb women out there too that are just like,
absolutely.
Like, girls are told like, oh, just get married and have kids, and they're like, well, if I look hot enough, I'll get a guy, and I don't have to work on the mental aspect of my life at all. So I'm fucking here. These are my tits. This is my ass. Hi. And it's like,
and it works for some. It works.
There is, I think, relationships a lot of the time, and I have to remind myself of this because I'm not built like this. Like, because I grew up in a household where my parents genuinely love one another and they were with each other because they care for one and respect one another. But a lot of relationships are not technically a business, but they function like a business. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? And it's like, a lot of times, unfortunately, for the woman, it's, this guy can take care of me. And if that's what I'm not judging, but I think I say unfortunately because I think it sets the standard for all women when this happens, is that they think that all women look to be taken care of, and it's not the case. But it does happen where a lot of women get into relationships so they don't have to work, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but people need to understand that that's not all women. And a lot of guys will just pick a chick because she looks good on his arm. And it's like, does that make a family? Like, should you people be procreating and making people? But that's what the foundation is in a lot of these cases. So
yeah. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Nothing. Right, nothing.
I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna teach my son at a very early age how to play sports, but also how to be friends with girls. So he'll be a well-balanced human being.
Yes.
And that's what got me through life. My entire 20s was just being the straight dude with the squad of girls, and like, I think I'm better for it.
Yeah.
And that's probably because I had a single mom, and Kalino won't have to live in that sort of situation because I'm going to do the work. But I think because I have a strong female figure in my life, I have a different respect and relationship with women. And I'm not afraid of you guys, but I
You should be.
no. But I have a healthy respect and admiration, you know, and so it's not just like I think a lot of my friends I probably tried to date initially, and then just it devolved into a friendship because of just how life goes. But I'm definitely going to teach Kalino. You're not trying to just get girls. You want to have like a relationship. Friendship is a relationship that we're allowed to have.
Yeah.
Men and women, but we just don't because our culture, our society doesn't really embrace that. But anyway.
But Kennelia.
I was rambling.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, this is all good because I wanted this conversation, but also, you know, it ties into the next topic. But really quickly, before we get into that, Kennelia, how many of your close friends are actually guy friends? Do you have like a lot of men?
I think it's split. Yeah, it's split. I have a lot of guy friends, but that comes with our surroundings. When you a comedian and you a woman, you in the locker room and you gonna be around men and you gonna bond and you gonna, you know, have that group of guy friends that become your family. Like my college friends, I got a lot of women college friends. So I have both. It's pretty split. I also got a lot of gay guy friends. So
yeah. Now, would you say with your straight male friends, are you past the point, or was there ever a point? Because maybe it never existed. Maybe there are some relationships that always started out with just platonymy. But would you say that any of those guy friends straight male friends that you currently have, do you think any of them still in their head think that one day y'all might smash? Or do you think it's so far past that they know our friendship is legitimately just a friendship? There's no strings attached. Like there's no expectations of that ever happening.
I don't put it past any man. If I took my clothes off and was like, you trying to do something? I wouldn't put it past any man to, not even if he's gonna like go through with having sex, to at least hesitate and think about it. Like, but I think my friendships were past the point where you would have to worry about that happening. Like if I have a boyfriend or if I'm dating someone and he feels a way about me having guy friends, I always tell him I'm past the point where I would date any or try to do anything with my guy friends. Like we're past that.
Right.
But again, if I got butt naked and was like, you trying, I don't know what would happen. I don't know what would happen.
Oh, yes, you do. Oh, you know.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no. What was that, Mel?
That's like one of the most common questions that after shows, or like for the last year and a half, I've been talking about my female like friends, like having a ton of girlfriends, and couples would come up and they would talk about like, well, what about your girlfriend? Is she cool with you having all these girlfriends? And I'm like, yeah, why? And the woman would, standing in front of her man, be like, yeah, I made him get rid of all of his girlfriends because of da-da-da-da-da. Or guys would come up to me on the sneak, like, on their girlfriend is talking to whoever, and they'd be like, yeah, I'm not allowed to have girlfriends because of this, his partner doesn't trust that he can't not fuck his friend, which is the weirdest thing to me.
But you know what?
Like, that's
on what that female friend, what the girlfriend is, not his girlfriend, but his homegirls. Because, like,
if she was there beforehand, if she was there before you,
and is she respectful of the relationship? Now, because if I had a boyfriend and he had a group of homegirls and they weren't respectful of his relationship, then we're gonna have to have a conversation
for sure.
Right.
But if they just regular homegirls, then fine.
Right. And again, especially if they were there before the girlfriend. Like, you can't tell me I've known her for 10 years. You can't just come in and say end your friendship with this person because you're insecure about it.
No, but that's the example. That's one of the main examples that I get. He's like, before I got married, I had a ton of girlfriends, and now I just have one because she made me get rid of all my girlfriends. And I'm like, that's fucking not cool, and that'll never happen with me. Like,
yeah, no.
Period.
What do you guys think about the Instagram thing? Like, I had a conversation with my male neighbor not that long ago. We don't know each other well at all, but like, he's just now engaged. He proposed to his girlfriend, so now they're fiancés. And we were speaking in the driveway one day. We just ran past one another, and we were just talking about, like, I was just talking about relationships in general, just being single and stuff. And he was talking about his relationship and said that she won't let him on Instagram. And it's like, is that okay? Like, do we think it's okay to control somebody's social?
Let him on there.
What did you say, Kennelia?
He won't let him on there.
That's what he said. That's what he said. And that's a, you're admitting that your girl don't trust you. But there's also, I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if your girl don't trust you, that is because you gave her a reason to not trust you. Or she could just legit just be crazy.
Or she could be crazy. I was talking to this guy, and I stumbled across his interaction on Instagram, meaning I found out he was the
hit this button.
I found out he was one of the thirsty dudes on Instagram, like leaving all the thirsty emojis in the comments. The fire, the drooling mouth, the like all of the thirstiest ones, that's him. And I was like, what are you doing?
Wait, and you were dating?
We were talking. We weren't necessarily dating.
Just getting to know.
He didn't see nothing wrong with being the thirsty ass dude on Instagram. And I'm like, take dating out of it. No girl likes the thirsty dude on Instagram.
Oh,
you can't stand that dude.
No. Look, wait. I agree. Like, I hate that guy too, Kennelia. However, it must work some of the time if dudes keep doing it.
Do they, or are they just like whack? Like, you know, like
that is a brilliant question. That is a brilliant question. Will we ever know the answer to this question? I don't know.
I think you're both right. I think you're both right. In my 20s, when I was going to clubs and we were going to go get chicks, I was blown away by just the boldness of some of the pickup lines of these dudes I would see. And I'm like, there's no way, dude. Like, there's no way. Hey, ma, let me holler at you real quick. Like, one dude would just stay in one spot and just yelling that to girls that walk by. And I'm like, there's no way that's going to work. And an hour later, I would see that dude with a girl, and I'm like, oh, that's a guy with just tenacity, and he's not going to be stopped by all these other girls. He's like, I'm here for one. Hey, girl, let me holler at you. Hey, girl, let me holler. And then one girl is like, hi. And he's like, yes. And this is how I teach my son. This is what we do. You just need one, son.
So I guess you're correct, Val, in that those two things can exist where it's like that dude was whack, but on top of it, it was a numbers thing where it's like you keep that persistence and eventually somebody will respond. Whether it is a quality person that responds, probably not. Like you, they're not going to get a Kennelia, right? They're not going to.
But based on Corona, if we can't talk to nobody, I probably would see what he's talking about. I'd be like,
yeah. Huh? You know what? Men and women show their insecurity in different ways. You know what I mean? Like, women are like, you can't be on Instagram, and men are like trying to fight other dudes in the bar.
Right.
Type thing. It's pretty funny.
Right. All right. We have maybe 15 minutes left, I'm thinking. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, let's say 15 minutes. Let's talk about, since we're talking about male and female relationships, let's take it to the extreme. Comedian. Another comedian done got called out and exposed for, this one's a little bit stronger, I think. I don't know. I don't know if this accusation is, I guess, stronger maybe, because a woman did come forward and say she actually got raped by a male comedian. Whereas when we were having this conversation a few weeks ago, we were talking about a comedian getting called out for being inappropriate with underage girls online and possibly having sex with underage girls. So I'm like, I don't know. I guess we could say this is stronger, maybe since this is a full-on a woman who came forward and said this happened and has like receipts and shit. And so Brian Callen, another comedian, who just happens to be friends with Chris D'Elia. Don't look good. It don't. And what's also suspicious is that before this article came out, which I had heard had been brewing since the Chris D'Elia stuff, I had heard just on the street that the LA Times was questioning people about Brian Callen. And that some investigation was happening. And so I knew it was coming. I was like, it's just a matter of time. But I had heard that Callen had scrubbed his whole Instagram of his pictures with Chris D'Elia. Like after that D'Elia story broke, he went through and deleted all of his photos with D'Elia. And so I'm like, oh, you already saying. You're saying so much with just those deletions.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And did he, I mean, but at that point, the internet keeps everything. So you can scrub them, but people can still find them or they know they were there. So
it's like that. I don't know if you saw it, but I think Mal, you saw it when there was an image, or not an image, but a video of D'Elia that started going viral. It was him on a podcast. You see it? And they were talking about some inappropriate relationship with a teacher and a student, and it was on Snapchat that she had like taken receipts of this relationship, and he was like, "But wait, I thought they disappeared on Snapchat," and it was that revelation of it's like that over 45 technology revelation. Oh, this is how.
Yeah. Oh no! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Head just exploding. Which is why I say old people shouldn't be on any type of social media, because y'all don't understand how it works. And here's the thing is that I'm not a young person. I mean, I'm 27, but that's not, Kenelia's like, Candice, what? And so, yeah, Kenelia's 25, so it's fine. And so it is like, just, if y'all don't know how it works, why are you doing deviant shit on a platform you don't even understand how it works?
Because people just literally be slow. Like you, and I think after a while, people just probably they just check out. Like,
because people be slow.
They be slow. Like,
that's the best explanation I've heard this whole entire time.
Think about how many people you have, like, over the last couple of months. Think about how many times you realize, oh, wow, they just don't be putting two and two together. They just don't, they can't do it.
Yeah.
They can't do it. Like, if I do something shady on a platform where you can record
or screenshot,
it's going to come back later. Like that.
Yeah. And Mal, I would like to pose this question to you, because it makes me wonder. And this is a story as old as time. Shut up, Mal. This is a story as old as time. Like, the stereotypes about men not being able to control themselves when it comes to women. And like, you give them an inch, they'll take a foot. And it's like, so you now have a level of like celebrity where it's like women are throwing themselves at you. And maybe you didn't have that lifestyle before. I'm going to go ahead and say most men don't. Unless you're like the super George Clooney, Brad Pitt looking dude when you came up through high school, you don't normally have women throwing it at you. So when you have television credits and you get to a level of people, women recognize you, you just don't know how to say no. So you will risk your family, your marriage, your career, because you just can't say no. Now, again, I'm not saying this is a blanket statement towards all men, but I'm asking, like, Mal, what is it with like that temptation of just like, why can't you weigh in that moment? Why can't you weigh? And this is a whole nother conversation from rape. Like, when I'm talking about rape right now, we're talking about just men and just pussy in general. Like when you weigh, okay, I'm going to lose my family, my career for this mistress, this head right now. Like, why is this always in a lot of situations went out?
Listen, as a man with several mistresses, it's just worth it sometimes, Candice. No, I don't know. I think you have to look at the background of that dude, like every case by case basis, because sort of all these are kind of different. You know what I mean? Like athletes are the kind of guys that get it thrown at them their entire life. I feel like they have that sort of normal society celebrity from a young age.
Even ugly ones.
Yeah, even the ugly ones. So in their mind, they're just kind of entitled. Like this is just my life. I just get it thrown at me, so that it is what it is. In comedy, I would say it's probably hard for some of these dudes because a lot of them are awkward, kind of weird. People are all kind of damaged in our own way, and then so they probably haven't gotten any attention from women their entire life, and then they get one, and they're fucking stoked, and then they get a little bit more successful, and they're like, oh my gosh, like all of this I could have now, and they just don't even think about it. They're blinded by the abundance, I guess, of girls just throwing it at them. So they just don't think. But I'll tell you, I might have told you this before, but like touring with Angela Johnson, like it's all women and in the audience, and I would say half of those women come on a date dragging some poor dude to the show, and then then there's another percentage of those women that are lesbians, and then there's another percentage of the women that are like coming with squads of just girlfriends to go see the Angela Johnson show. And I've had it like thrown at me after shows. Like I've had women come up with their number. Hey, I know you're staying in this area. Here's my number. Like, and to me, it feels cool. It feels, everybody likes to be the object of, it feels nice. But I'm a smart, loyal, like a faithful man. So I can take the dopamine just from the compliment of like, oh, cool, they want to do that, and that's kind of enough for me. Like I've never felt the need to make the next step just because it's not the right thing to do. Like I take those numbers, I'll put them in my pocket, and at the end of the night, I put those in the trash. I'm not going to throw it away right in front of them. I give them the fantasy of it might happen, but it's not going to happen. It's easy. It's the easiest thing to do is say, no, thank you. I'm flattered. No, thank you. And nobody gets their feelings hurt, I don't think.
Right.
I do.
And now, and
I don't know. I can't answer for most dudes, Candice, because I'm different.
Yeah, no, but also now imagine if Mal's having that experience. Imagine if you were an attractive man who was actually funny.
Hey, what the fuck?
No, but you're right. If you're not used to getting women and you're not used to attention, and now all of a sudden you're funny, you have the gift of humor, and you get some popularity, you go after a while, and then you start to get numb to it, and you start to slip up a little bit, and then you start to disregard the rules. The rules meaning, make sure she's of age and don't rape nobody.
Right.
How about that? It don't seem that hard to me, but
yeah.
These things should be understood. Don't know why I have to say these things. Right. But apparently we do have to just say to our young men, don't rape. Like it's consent. Always ask for consent. But I did want to ask you, Kennelia, because I asked Sydney. I think Sydney Castillo was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and I asked him about the Crystalia thing. He had no idea about when that story broke. He texted me or called me a week after it happened and was like, "What happened with Crystalia?" And I'm like, "What are you talking? Like Twitter has just been ablaze." And so then I said to him, I said, "What I think it is And I wanted to ask you, a Black woman, because I feel like it is a conversation that's happening on social media, but only in white spaces. And I can see it. And I said I was a part of the conversation because I am also a regular at the Comedy Store, which is where, I work with Dalia on a regular basis. And I happen to follow enough white people online who I know as fellow comedians. So I was just a part of the conversation, whether I wanted to be or not. And so I asked Sydney, I don't see any Black people really being a part of this conversation, Black men especially being a part of this conversation, but also I didn't see any Black women being a part of it. I felt like I was the only Black woman. I think Jackie Fabulous may have said something about the Dalia thing, but it was like when the Black Lives Matter thing was happening, it was everybody. It was like Black Lives, blah, 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 blah. But then when this thing happened, it was just, I felt like it was white women mostly speaking out and then silence from everybody else.
Yeah.
So were you aware on social media when this was happening, or?
I caught wind of it maybe a couple days after it kind of picked up steam. But it doesn't shock me because think about it. Think about how we focus our attention and our information as Black people and as white people. A lot of Black people, when the whole Jeffrey Epstein and the Harvey Weinstein stuff started coming out, a lot of Black people, not even in the industry, had no clue, or they were still like, Jeffrey Epstein, who's that? Harvey Weinstein, who's that? Yeah. But R. Kelly, all they wanted to focus on are the people that mean something to them. So I feel like a lot of Black people may not have caught wind or been on board with this, because if outside of the comedy community and like Black hipsters, they don't know who Chris D'Elia is.
Absolutely.
You ask Auntie in Detroit who Chris D'Elia is, she's like, who? They just don't know. But I mean, I don't think it's for lack of care, because if the same chatter happened with a young Black man who's a comedian who's similar to Chris D'Elia, then they'd be talking.
I agree. And that's what, and I wanted to get both perspectives, because that is what my initial reaction was because I had a conversation with a friend about this, because he was like, how do you feel about the Black silence about the Dalia stuff? And I'm like, I honestly don't think they're aware. And it's just like, if it's not Black, it don't affect us in that way.
Yeah, they don't know.
Right. And so I will give a shout out, it sounds terrible, to a Black comedian rapist back in the day named Vince Champ.
Who?
I don't think a lot of people know.
What's his name?
Vince Champ. Vince?
I don't know Vince.
You don't know, I'm sure, Mal. Only reason I know is because Roy Wood Jr. told me about this dude years ago, probably like maybe in 2015, 14, he mentioned this dude. He was like, oh, you don't know about Vince Champ? And I was like, no. And he was like, yo, there was this Black male comic who was, and he was on Star Search back in the maybe, I don't know if it was, because
He's old.
He's old. Yeah, he's we didn't know about him. And when Roy knew about him was like when Roy was first starting in comedy, which was like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so he knew just from being in comedy at that point in time. We were like still in school and shit, not just trying to figure out what we want to do with our lives. And so he was like, oh yeah, no, there was a Black male comic who actually had a Star Search debut. I think he may have even won. I don't know, but he was on Star Search, and after that started like booking a bunch of colleges, and he was raping women at these colleges, and the police found him because they took his touring schedule and lined it up with where the rapes were happening on college, and they were like, they overlaid the two, and they're like, this is not a coincidence. And so Vince Champ, he was the Black male comedian that I think we would be talking about. This was the
right. No, and we would if we got information about one of our colleagues right now who was out here raping,
right,
we would be talking about it. Now, I think the conversation will be different because as Black people and Black women, we have this weird thing where we feel like we are thirsty for Black heroes, so we don't want to tear nobody down.
Oh, absolutely.
So I feel like it'll be a different conversation, but it'll be people like, why are you trying to take the brother down? He all we got. I think it would be something along those lines.
Kennelia, Bill Cosby is innocent. So
because he was trying to buy NBC. Come on now. You know he was trying to buy NBC.
he was trying to buy NBC.
Listen, we know this, but people still believe that.
Still argue. And I'm like, he was not trying. At how old is he? He was not still trying to buy NBC. And why would you take him down now of all the times? Like
and it wasn't for sale. NBC wasn't even for sale. Like
what are we talking about? I'm like, y'all want to go buy NBC? We can go. I'll put in like 50,000. You put in like 50,000, and maybe we can pool our money together and just buy a network. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Talking about NBC like it's a PlayStation.
Right.
I got 5 on it.
I got 5 on
what?
it. I'll be the vice president. You could be
the CFO.
Yeah.
No, well, that's good. Okay, I did want to get a Black, but that is absolutely true. The conversation would be different even if it was a Black comedian, because we do like to protect and say we don't want to blame Black men for anything. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again: not all Black men are guilty, but not all Black men are innocent.
That's true. True. That is true. Yep.
And we'll end with this, but just Callan, like, I was just like, to me, this was not surprising. Just to clarify, I never heard anything about Callan, about him being a rapist. I'd never heard anything about that. I do know that he was having extramarital affairs with women that were not his wife.
He's married.
Oh.
Okay.
I do know one of the people that he had messed with, and he never did anything to me. I would get a flirtatious, look from him every once in a while, but he was not somebody that I would put in the same. I wouldn't hang out. We never even had conversation. It was just in a green room. Hey, what's going on? That's it. So yeah, I had never heard anything suspicious about him, but that whole group of those guys, I always have gotten a toxic masculinity feel from it. It's when there's acknowledgement there of my presence, I always feel it's very dismissive, you're a woman, you don't belong here type of thing. And that's the culture, I think, in a lot of spaces in comedy, unfortunately. But to hear this was also I'm not gonna say I was surprised by it, but it is, again, discouraging to hear this is what we have to now put up with.
Yeah. And just stop raping. Just stop. Enough. Leave us alone. You know what I mean? Just leave us alone. Just stop.
Public announcement by Kennelia Stradwick, everyone. Public service announcement. Just stop raping us. Just leave us alone.
Leave us alone.
When is it enough rapes? Just stop it.
Stop.
And I think that's a good place to end it. That was fantastic, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the struggle. You guys, if you have not subscribed, make sure to do that. We're on all podcast platforms and on YouTube now. My personal YouTube, I'll post the link. Rate and review us on iTunes. It really does make a difference. And if you have not told somebody about the struggle and you are laughing to this regularly, please pay it forward and tell somebody about the struggle. You can find me, Jokes by Candice, on social media. Mal, one more time, where can everyone find you?
Unfollow me at Mal Hall on all social media, Mal Hall TV on YouTube. That's it.
And last but not least, the hilarious Kennelia Stradwick. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Kennelia. Kenny and Ophelia.
Oh, say that one more time. I cut you off.
It's like Kenny and Ophelia. Kennelia.
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 It's phonetically spelled for the stupid people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Later.
Bye.